Am I the asshole? For telling my brother I think he did the wrong thing forcing his bio son to move in with him? Almost 6 months ago my brother learned that he had a 15-year-old son with his ex. She died but had put my brother's name on the birth certificate, and so my brother was contacted. He never knew she'd had a child, let alone his child. A DNA test was carried out and confirmed my brother was the biological father. It was a very emotionally taxing time because my brother carried a lot of anger knowing his ex, who he had parted on good terms with, never told him. The only reason he can think of for why is she had always wanted to move back to her hometown in another state and did not want to be forced to stay or share custody with a long-distance parenting plan, and so never told my brother as a result. The social worker in charge of the case mentioned the maternal grandparents wanted to retain custody of his son and that his son wanted to remain there, but as the biological father he had the right to take custody. My brother was called by the maternal grandparents and they, along with his son, asked for my brother to say no to custody. But he wanted his kid and forced him away from the family he knew so he could live with my brother, Sil, and their kids 11, 9, 7 and 5. Things are not going well. My nephew is angry that he was taken from his family. He doesn't want to know my brother. He does not want a relationship with Sil or the kids. He's angry and is refusing to engage in the therapy my brother put him in. He ran away twice. He has had lots of trouble in school, which is not surprising really. It's been rough. He talks to me some. He told me as far as he is concerned they can all rot in hell, and if he's hurting their poor little feelings then it's too bad, so sad, and they better get used to it because once he can, he's going home and won't speak to any of them again and fuck blood because blood means fucking nothing. It's worth noting that his maternal family are not blood. His mom and her sister were adopted and he is aware of this and does not have much of an interest in blood ties generally. My brother and Sil are frustrated that things are not starting to show signs of improvement. My brother mentioned that the kids have been upset by the rejection and wanted to know why he was so mean to everyone and didn't give them a chance to be a family. I said nothing to him and just heard him out, but he said I had a look on my face and asked me about it, and then I told him he should never have made his son move in. I told him he went against what his son wanted and now he was living with the consequences. I said whether he likes it or not, his son doesn't give a shit that he's his bio father. He cares that when he was grieving the worst loss a kid can imagine, he was torn from the people he loved to live with strangers. My brother said he did the right thing and he could love them too if he would give them a chance. But he's being stubborn and refusing, and I am not helping things by saying he's wrong and his son is right. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Your brother has his head in the sand. His son has a family, a support system that he was uprooted from to be forced to live with strangers that he was expected to play happy families with, somewhere he doesn't know and hates because of this. Not the asshole. But your brother is. He ripped away his son from his friends, from his family he loves, and is expecting that everything will be sorted out with time. Maybe he can save this relationship with his son when he is letting him go to his home he took him away. But if he does not, as soon the son is turning 18, I bet that will be the last time he saw his son. A relationship needs time to grow and he need to understand that what he did was cruel to his son. That was not love, that was ownership. Not the asshole, you are right. Your brother could have still taken the time to get to know his son, without ripping him away from the only family he's ever known while grieving his mother. He's being selfish. He can still let him go back, but with visitation to get to know him. I understand he wants to know his son and step up, but he's meant to do what's best for the son, not himself. Not the asshole, your brother isn't listening to or understanding his son. The boy has lost his mom, his home, his school and friends, and his grandparents in a matter of weeks. He's now living with strangers who have no connection to his former life and refuse to empathize with how unhappy he is with the situation. Dad and step are frustrated and angry, kids are upset, and they don't understand why the magic wand of therapy isn't making him happy. This is all about their feelings and how the boy should adapt to fit in. As soon as the kid hits 18, he'll be gone. And they will be to blame for the anger and resentment that kid will carry. Would you brother consider a shared time with the grandparents might make things a bit better for all sides? Any relationship has to happen organically. You can't just shoehorn a person into an established family against their will and expect it to work out when DNA is the only thing you have in common. Also, I find your brother to be not only insensitive but extremely arrogant that he expects this boy to be happy that he wants him just because he donated the sperm that created him. His bio mom shares some blame as well. She had a hand in creating this situation. That poor kid. Please share this post with your brother, maybe it will open his eyes. My father chose not to be in my life, so I promised myself if I ever had a child I would be in their life. I would be incredibly angry if I was denied that chance, but I would never rip a child from their life they know. Not the asshole. That poor kid. He's going to run away again. Your brother is a fool who is living in a fantasy. Yes, he didn't know his son existed, but that doesn't mean his son wants anything to do with him, and he doesn't. Op said the child is 15. If your family is in the US, then after he turns 16, he could make a case to go back to his maternal family. It's what he wants and he'll be considered old enough by then. Otherwise, your nephew will continue to raise hell until he's 18. Let your nephew know you'll continue to support him. Good luck. Natar, the truth hurts. Not the asshole. I think your brother is in a terrible situation tbh, and I do feel bad for him because it sounds to me like he's trying to make up for lost time and be the father he wasn't allowed to be. But that's not something he can force, and if he keeps pushing he's just gonna drive his son away. Not the asshole. Your brother is focusing on what's best for him and not his son. I suspect the kid is waiting until he turns 18 so he can leave for good. Not the asshole. It's a good thing your nephew has you in his corner. What does the rest of the family say about this? Not the asshole. Your brother was crazy to think that a 15-year-old would come around after expressing his want to stay with the grandparents and the life he had built there. It was actually pretty selfish of your brother not to take the kid's feelings into account and go against his wishes. I would understand if he was a toddler, but not when he's 15. Not the asshole. Maybe if your brother hadn't forced his son to move in with them, his son might have been willing to have a relationship with him. Not the asshole. Might be why the ex never told him about his son. He is so focused on his rights that he isn't doing what is right. The dead mom is the A for denying your brother a chance to know his son from day one and vice versa. That time can never be gotten back. It's just a sad situation all around. The kid is right. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. I think what your brother means is I focused on my own wants and needs. I'm hoping I can just bulldozer over my son's wants and needs, and you're not helping by telling the truth. Not the asshole. Your brother is being unbelievably cruel. It almost sounds like he's subconsciously doing this to hurt his ex who is dead. Is there any way your nephew can speak to a social worker to find out if he has any say at all in who has custody? I cannot believe that a court would agree to rip him away from the only family he's ever known, in a stable, loving home, to live with total strangers where he's miserable just because of DNA. Not the asshole. Brother chose poorly and perhaps selfishly. Maybe even to spite a deceased ex. Whatever the reasoning was, he did not do it for the benefit of the child, which makes him an R. In the UK you can't add a father to the birth certificate without their knowledge. Is this really a thing where you are? Isn't that a little frightening that anybody could just add your name? Doesn't the state go after them for any child support? If he wants a relationship with his son, it needs to start slow. It may never recover at this point. Not the asshole. Might ask the brother how he intends to enforce that love. The kid is only there because the legal system is enforcing it. Brother is describing Stockholm Syndrome, not love.